I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Moistski Live channel for another political recap stream. Joining me to talk about some things, as always, is my scrumdiddlyumptious co-host, TrupsLP. So please hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
How is Trups?
Trups is okay. Another week down, and we take it piece by piece here.
Did everything go well last weekend?
I don't remember. Oh. Yes. Yes. All things went well.
I'm glad that things are going well for you.
Yes. There's many parts that follow through with that now, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, another time. So what has Trups been up to during the week?
Oh, I've been running around. I saw this funny video, and I think it was on TikTok, and it was a girl, maybe about 3 or 4, and they were crying in the back seat. The mom asks, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And the kid goes, "I don't want to be an adult." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because being an adult is like being in prison. I don't even want to be a teenager. I just want to be a kid forever." And all of the comments just like, "Yep, I feel that, child."
Yeah, I remember. I'm 36 now. I fully understand. I remember the days of that, but I will admit, I wish I was more of a child now than I was back in the 90s, because that wasn't an easier life. I would like it a little bit more comfortable, but to have less responsibility.
Well, I think what it boils down to really is that adults doing adult things is not fun, right? Unless you're magnificently wealthy, right? The day-to-day grind of the things that you're responsible for are not inherently fun.
True.
Now, some may take enjoyment of it, but it's not what we traditionally believe is fun. Right?
No, that's true. That is very true, and I can fully understand that. I can empathise with that individual immensely, and of course, F for them.
My week was essentially adulting, and I don't like it, and I empathise with the child.
F. So mine, on Monday, 2 of my sisters, 3 nieces, 2 nephews, friend of the family, his daughter, all went camping and came back today. My eldest sister and I and her daughter were here all week. It was very quiet. It was lovely, actually. That niece has been good as gold when she normally isn't actually like that at all. It's been amazing. On Wednesday, my solar panel was officially wired up to the inverter and battery. I have electricity. Tomorrow, I will be testing to see how far it goes. I've got the TV on, the PlayStation on. I will run it all day and see how much battery I use while it's charging itself, just to see what the potential is on it. So that's exciting. I took 9 boxes of DVDs, books, Pop Funkos, and other random toys and bits I'd had over the years to charity yesterday.
Good.
2 shops. One shop said no, we're not taking donations. That was strange. One was shut, and the third one only said yes because I said Pop Funkos.
I see.
Yeah,
I guess that's the only thing that they can sell.
Well, no, I think it's more because she was young enough to be like, oh, I collect them. And I simply said, you can have them, but you have to take everything else. I was like, there you go, done. So she got some Pop Funkos for herself. Nice.
Okay.
It's been a good week here. I bought myself a bottle of American whiskey called Tin Cup. I'm going to be drinking that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. I today tried and went through half a bottle of cherry vanilla Captain Morgan's with a friend of the family. It's been a good quiet week, and I've been prepping for something else, but I'll tell you after the stream. But yeah, it's been a good week. I also bought. So my dad acquired for me last weekend a remote control jet ski for the swimming pool that we have in the garden now, like one of those ones you build above ground thing. My sister bought it, and this jet ski's a laugh. It's really fun to play with. But to add to that, I saw a remote control submarine for about 20 quid and a remote control boat that's a lot faster. So I bought them, and so I was playing with those, and it's been hilarious, to be honest. The submarine especially, because it works. I couldn't believe it. So it's been a good week, I think, for me. Perhaps not been the most active on YouTube and other areas, but I've enjoyed the peace and quiet this week, and the lower temperature, which has really helped me sleep. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I also get a couch tomorrow for my cabin, which means my cabin is kind of mostly done. Just need more solar power. So I think it's quite exciting,
Good.
isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So where would you like to start today? We have some things in the UK, nothing too serial, because most of Parliament is shut down, of course. A lot of things happening over in your end, though. So where would you like to start?
Let's start with Schlong COVID.
So
that's funny.
Before we started, you said Schlong COVID, and I didn't hear schl, so I heard long COVID and misunderstood that as, people who are quadruple vaccinated or boosted and, are still catching it like your president and many other people, in fact. Schlong COVID. What is Schlong COVID, Trups?
So Schlong COVID is the non-racist term for monkeypox coined by our own Tucker Carlson. Okay, so there's a bit of a story behind that.
Oh, good.
So there was a quote unquote woke official, a New York City official, who asked the WHO to change what they believe monkeypox to be as a racist title.
All right.
Much like how they were after Trump for calling coronavirus the Wuhan virus. Similarly, they had made that comment. Now, of course, the reason why people are calling it Schlong COVID, of course, is based on how one obtains the virus, which has been more often than not linked to unprotected gay sex. Well, to be more specific, anal sex.
Okay.
Because I don't know how the lesbians are doing. Yeah. So that's where the origin of that comes in. Now, of course, it is definitely a joke. However, Tucker Carlson did also then at the director of the WHO and tell him that the people want it to be called Schlong COVID. So, I mean, he's playing the game very for the long haul, methinks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that, actually. Yeah.
And I think it's fucking hilarious, honestly. Yeah, I don't know how the what's it called, the UK is doing with their life in the wake of Schlong COVID. I can only hope that you are doing everything in your power to keep your friends and your family safe from the Schlong. And that, and that all goes well.
I feel a bit violated with all that.
Oh,
just all this schlong everywhere. It's just a bit much, really, isn't it?
in it.
It's a bit thick. I don't quite understand. Monkeypox has been getting coverage in UK, but not too much, to be honest. It's been very isolated. I think the media wish it had picked up because then they'd have something to really sensationalize. But they haven't had here anything to run on because it just hasn't. It has spread, but not anywhere near the COVID levels.
Right.
And they know damn well people are not. They're stupid, but people aren't so stupid as to think, oh yeah, but this is worse because it's called monkeypox or schlong COVID.
Well, apparently, according to the research that I have done, albeit it is very minimal because I could not be fucking bothered.
That doesn't surprise me.
Monkeypox isn't new. It's actually a virus that we've seen for a while. It's only like having a resurgence right now, and it's essentially, I forget what the origin of it is, so I'm not going to speculate on it, but basically it causes a rash, some flu-like symptoms, and at the worst you'll probably have some unpleasant, bumps for
so
I think the max was 4 to 6 weeks.
Monkeypox, let's see. Let's see. Copenhagen 1950s, something like that.
Okay.
That's what it says. It's caused by zootonic virus in the genus blah blah blah. It's just a version of smallpox.
Oh, that's what it was. It was smallpox. I kept wanting to say shingles.
I'm literally. No. It's a version of smallpox. I'm looking at some of the chemical stuff with this. It's literally just a version of that.
Okay, cool.
You have here. Routine smallpox vaccinations aren't as effective. But you got the WHO have declared a public health emergency of international concern because of 16,000 cases in 75 countries and territories. I assume they've also been playing Plague Inc.
There's a comment that I have to make about that later, but continue.
No, it's fine. They have differential diagnosis, chickenpox, smallpox, so it's it's in that area basically.
Yeah, I remember because people were saying that there were some doctors that were misdiagnosing monkeypox as what appeared to be shingles because of just like the rash and the bumps that are created.
The bumps are certainly very. It looks like someone's back has been turned into sandpaper.
Yeah. So I think that's where the misdiagnosis for shingles.
I can get that. I can understand it in that context.
Now, what's really funny about the comment about Plague Inc. is we were Ash and I were in the drive-through line for Taco Bell. I think it was last week.
Oh, nom nom.
Oh yes,
I'll take your word for it.
Taco Bell's great. Yeah. And for whatever reason, they were taking their sweet ass time. I presume somebody very large was at the front of the line ordering for at least 18 people. Because we sat there through an entire Fauci interview on I think it was Fox or whatever, and then also on CNN. And what was bizarre was that they keep talking about these new outbreaks of COVID and how they are they're always more contagious than the last, right? I don't know if you've noticed that every time there's a new variant, they're like, oh, it just spreads more than Omicron, than Delta, than whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, based on my knowledge of Plague Inc., which has been cited as a tool that the WHO has used in the past to help figure out shit.
That's clever. I like that.
It literally advertised it on the main screen for a long time.
I did stream that game a couple times. It's fun.
It's a great game. I enjoy it a bunch. But
I did it during COVID.
the more contagious a virus is, usually has a direct correlation, an inverse correlation, in fact, to its lethality. And that is because when you have a very lethal virus, it usually will kill the host before it can replicate and then produce.
Yeah, you need a balance. Right? You need to be able to infect everyone else before it becomes lethal.
Right. Now, of course, we as the gods of that game have the ability to press a button and turn on the darkness, right? Turn on the evil zombie virus, the Planet of the Apes virus.
Oh, that one's a bitch.
It sucks, doesn't it?
That one is so difficult.
Especially because it's like, oh yeah, they can like they mobilize like the army against you, and you're like, I have my ape army, we're going to attack Paris, and then it doesn't work out, and I'm like, how did the Germans do this?
Honestly, I fully get that. It's an absolute bitch.
Oh yeah. But okay, so but the lethality usually has a direct inverse to its ability to be contagious.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, somebody had mentioned it earlier, the scaremongering is just like, oh, it's a COVID virus, right? I'm wondering at what point we're just going to circle back around to all coronaviruses, and it's like, it's a coronavirus. Be scared, citizen.
I was watching,
you know what I mean?
So you know how you get recommended clips on YouTube for certain TV shows like Law and Order?
Mm-hmm.
I got one the other day, and I couldn't believe the coincidence of this. I clicked on it, and it had in the back of the boot of this car, it said hazard, toxic something.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy literally found out it was called coronavirus. This is from the 90s. And I was like, hang on a second. Wait, what? Because I didn't know that was a thing then as well. I was completely thrown by this.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I thought COVID-19 was like COVID-1.
Yeah, no. So, like, coronavirus is just based on the shape of the virus. The thing looking like it has a crown on, which is the word corona.
I never paid enough attention to know that.
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's bizarre when you start to like expand out from the immediate the immediate media bubble that has been created.
Yeah.
And realize that the words now, like, of course you saw that was in the 90s, right? Corona beer didn't have like a major downfall in sales because of that 90s like.
No, it certainly did not.
But now, of course, everything's terrible. So they're going to reap the unfortunate end of whatever the media says. So, but no, in terms of the monkeypox thing, there has been an ongoing, I don't know how to say, a controversy per se as to how one gets it, right? Okay. So you get it through skin contact with people who have it. So if your hand touches the rash, you could get the rash on your hand, right? Makes sense. Well, okay. A lot of people have been experiencing this kind of problem on their mouth and genitalia. And the anus region was the most common that they had mentioned.
Really?
When reporting on it, yeah.
Didn't know that.
And they started to take note of the fact that the majority of people who were reporting that they had long COVID was that they were gay, which reminded me a lot of AIDS, right?
Everybody has AIDS.
And because of the stigma that was created after the, at the precipice of the AIDS epidemic, right?
Yeah.
They are trying desperately to not mention gay, right? Now, this would be the equivalent of saying that oh, by the way, Corona does not affect old people as a vulnerable population. If you say that, then you are almost intentionally, putting their feet to the fire. Hey, guys, you're fine. Don't worry. This doesn't affect you as much as it affects everybody else. Whereas, if I were in that camp, I would want them to be as honest as possible with me so that I could take care of myself and my friends and my other gays so that we would not have this problem. I think they're doing the community a disservice by not mentioning that, not having protected sex is a way that you may get this in very uncomfortable locations. But apparently saying that is taboo.
I can't imagine why.
Now I can make it even worse.
Well, the stream's already been demonetized, so go nuts.
Fuck yeah. So apparently there was a child, a 3-year-old and a toddler who got it.
Are they okay?
I think so.
Oh,
but
that's a relief.
The criticism is okay. So if this is a virus that primarily affects people who have unprotected sex, what does that imply?
Oh no!
About right.
I got you. Yeah.
People are speculating. And I don't know if I were to say rightly so, but they are speculating.
Understandably so.
The concerning aspect of this potential realization.
It's understandably so because that does raise a number of alarm bells, and that's not acceptable.
Correct. Now that being said, I am not a doctor, nor am I an epidemiologist or any other of the ologists. I don't entirely know. It could have just been a hand, because again, as I mentioned, skin-on-skin contact is a method of transmission. The other possibility, I don't know. Perhaps you do. I don't know how well versed you are in AIDS.
I'm
but
not.
Perhaps either you or the chat could inform me if that virus is transmissible through breast milk.
Couldn't tell you.
If AIDS is. I don't know if it is, but that was one of the questions that I had asked while we were sitting there. I'm like, is that one of those things? Can it be transmitted through? Because that would explain a lot, right?
The answer, according to Google, HIV can be transmitted through breast milk.
Okay, so that is a possibility as to how a baby got this. Okay, yeah, we're going to keep it as open as possible. However, we need to at least have that question lingering out there until we have an answer, in my humble opinion.
Although there are conflicting sources now. So let's say the answer is unknown.
Okay.
But it does seem to indicate there is some credence to it.
Okay. Well, I'm down with some credence to it. That sounds acceptable to me.
It feels like a strange conversation to have, folks. Breast milk. I know. HIV. Everyone has AIDS.
Well, it's one of those things that, I know people don't like hearing about certain things, but, two things. I don't care. And two, this is potentially important when the potential safety of a child is involved.
Oh no, it's 100% important in that context. Safety of children is paramount. Why? Because they can't defend themselves.
Correct. They rely on us to be not shitty.
When you get put in a dangerous position, one of us has a choice, and the other does not, and the choice is usually on the adult.
So be good. Okay. Let's move on from there.
Yes, please do. Hello to those in the chat, by the way, that I haven't said hello to already. So Big Bad Wolfie, Lisa, Chaos, Teresa. Is there anyone else? Credible Threat? I've already said that, haven't I? Maybe not. I don't know. If there's anyone else I've missed, do let me know. We'll, of course, welcome you to the chat.
Hi.
Where should we move on to next? Actually, you know what? Let's do something British for a bit.
Okay.
It won't be long because there's not much going on here. There's more mudslinging between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss concerning policies, and polls seem to be in favour of Liz Truss winning over Rishi Sunak. Now, I think that's the wrong move. I think as far as like what they could push with him in charge, they could use his youth to their advantage. But some people don't see that as an advantage, and they really are wrong in this context. So as far as they're going, there is also a number of people who want Boris to stay. Members of the party who are trying to push forward a vote to get him to stay as Prime Minister. At this stage, he could, but it would be the biggest dick move and would damage the party irreparably now. I thought Boris could have been a great Prime Minister had he not continually cocked up over and over again. And these cock-ups were monumental. Yes, I will say some are a bit circumstantial, but too many now happened. And I'm afraid he can't stay. Simple as that, really. So that's not going anywhere at the moment, but people are still trying to push it through. Hello, Fubar Freak, hope you're well. And I think that it'd be interesting to see how it unfolds. Parliament's on recess, so we're not getting anything extra from the political side beyond exterior fighting. And I've got something quite interesting for Labour. Don't worry, we'll get to them. So, Labour are having a bit of an existential crisis. Much like the Conservatives with their infighting, Labour are no different. In 2019, Jeremy Corbyn lost in the biggest defeat Labour had suffered since 1940 something, 5 I think. Or maybe no, they won then, didn't they? No, whatever. Whatever their biggest defeat was, he destroyed it. And one second, I'm gonna yawn. Sorry. My apologies.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody in the chat now it has
it's
to
just
be on.
Nice bit of ASMR for you. And with that loss came the end of this idea that a far left party could run this country. It didn't help that Jeremy didn't have a plan for Brexit. His party were conflicted on it because some would say, "Oh, we'll push for the best deal for the country and then we'll campaign against it so we stay." That's what Emily Thornberry actually tried to do. And Emily Thornberry is a colossal twat. So it's not a surprise it didn't work. And with that defeat, you would have thought Labour would then push for more centre-left politics. Makes sense. Not be so far left.
No.
I know. Instead of being so, extremist. Yeah. Instead, just be a bit more sensible and have a more level-headed mindset. So Keir Starmer was chosen. He got the support of the unions. He got enough support of them, in fact, that he, because that's how instead of Labour, Conservatives, where their members, where they all vote inside the party to choose their leader. With Labour, it's by unions. So unions, you know what a union is, don't you?
Of course.
Right. There are many unions in this country, and they are supposed to stand up for the employee rights. They don't, but they do and they don't. They do in one aspect, but then they don't because they're pretty loaded, and so it's more like just protecting themselves, if anything. Keir Starmer though got enough support of enough of them, so Momentum was not one of them because they're twats. They're the far left ones that essentially propped up Corbyn. So he's in, but the thing is, he has to appease them. Much like Tories have to appease their rich donors, Labour have to appease the unions, because Labour is supposed to represent the working man, the blue-collar worker, as it were. And recently, a number of those blue-collar workers, and I know Chaos, I know. Hello, Jay, hope you're well. Recently, a number of strikes have taken place on public transport. Now, they've done this on purpose. They've done this at the most inconvenient time because of what's happened to this country's economy. But they're doing it at the right time, at the same time, because if their wages aren't going up to match inflation and the cost of living going up, then their wages are no good. And the same applies to the unions that represent them, because they themselves then know their money doesn't go as far. Labour have been holding a sort of divided stance on this. Keir Starmer has said, please don't do this. He has said it like in PMQs. He hasn't really been too verbally or vocally against it. And I think there's a point to that. Other members of his party that are more far left leaning, no, they have absolutely fundamentally disagreed. And it's been hilarious to watch because they've been, destroyed. Interestingly, though, and I have to quickly Google this, other members of his party who do support it include his own deputy, Angela Rayner, the Chav. Recently, there was a strike with, or what they're called, trains. Who are they? I can't remember what they're called.
Not Amtrak.
There was some more picket line, things going on. And what made it interesting was a man called Sam Tarry was there. Now, what makes this interesting is Sam Tarry is the shadow Labour transport team person. He's involved in that department. Sam Tarry is also Angela Rayner's boyfriend. And he is, because he's gone against what Kira said, he's been sacked. That's tasty, because Angela's not happy about that. But we can add to that, because where Keir Starmer has said in the past he wants to buy back certain public services, which I actually, to an extent, support, he's now having to go back on that because he can't afford it. His idea financially doesn't work. He wants to buy back the water and the energy mostly, electric, right? And the reason why is because if you compare our price hikes with that of, say, France, right? And I found this out from somebody I know from dog walking. In our country, it's gone up nearly 50%. In another country, it's gone up where it's nationally owned as opposed to ours, which is privately owned. It's only gone up, I'd say, about 40% of that 50, so 20% at most. It's really not increased at all. It has, but it hasn't as anywhere near as severely. And I think that's so important. We are being fleeced. We are being well and truly fleeced. And I don't like it in the slightest. I really don't. I don't agree in the windfall tax. I don't think it solves the problem. They'll just jack up the prices even more to cover that loss. I think they need to understand that they can't bully us or push us around and bully us and take us for mugs. Because Keir has moved away from this buyback public services, and that would include trains as well, which wouldn't be, again, feasible. He's causing another divide in his own party of the more extreme left who are like, you're not standing up for the workers and you're not buying back the services. You're a shit socialist. And then others who are like, actually, this might be more feasible to, in a first term, for example, try and balance the books first, see what we can do without ruining the economy like we have done every other time Labour have been in government. Sorry, every single time Labour have been in government. And I think it's important. So when it comes to buying back water, we don't have much anyway, so it's fine. Buying back the trains, maybe. But the one reason that we sold these off, it wasn't just because the Conservatives don't like us owning anything in this country, because that's their thing. They can't sell off the NHS, but they damn well try. The one reason why, though, is because when we were members of the EU, to maintain them to the standards the EU demanded, we couldn't afford it. That's why we sold water. I think Margaret Thatcher did that. We sold the trains for the same reason, and we still pay the train companies, the money to pay their own shareholders dividends, which I again disagree with. And the same for energy companies. We keep on paying them as well, bailing them out and giving them more money, because they apparently couldn't afford to function during things like lockdown, yet they were making more profit and they knew what to do with it. And I think, and War, thank you very much for the compliment. That's very nice of you. And Peng1, hello. Hello to everyone who's joined today. I really appreciate that. And yeah, we are getting robbed, Peng, absolutely. And I think cancel COVID debts, reopen the mines. Credible threat, I think they were exploring that. The Conservatives were. They now know that going green or trying to go green fully or zero emissions by 2040 isn't feasible because the economy right now is not strong enough to be able to withstand that kind of change. And I think that's another issue because, so for example, there's the whole, many people are now going solar. And there's a chance with that you can make a bit of money from your solar panels, sure. Average household usage, though, is higher than what many panels would actually give your house anyway. If anything, it just reduces your bill. But also, as far as environmentally friendly goes, if anyone is intelligent, you'd know to make a solar panel is incredibly environmentally unfriendly. It is remarkably toxic and not remotely beneficial to the environment, but it is quite amusing when people think it is. It's cute almost, actually. And then I have to tell them what chemicals go into making them, and they're like, is this a good thing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is if they're going into your tits, dipshit. And I'm joking there as well, don't try me. And I think, so this cost going up, and Labour now moving away from what they said they would want to do, Keir Starmer, he's going to lose more support of the very unions that got him into office. They can't just get rid of him, by the way. They could have a vote of no confidence, but there's no real point. And I think, yes, foreign spending, I actually kind of agree. To be honest, I do. TOC's train operating companies are difficult. Yes, prices go up, but services keep running along business lines that have overall been good. I'm old enough to remember British Rail. So am I think.
I'm not.
I know the name British Rail. I must have been on one of their trains, whether it be antiquated or like out of service, but just there as a novelty or not. I do agree services have improved. The thing is, the government pays billions every year to the train companies to keep the services going or to help them or boost things. I'm sorry, but to me, that is a rip-off. We shouldn't be doing that. They should be able to do it on their own. And if they keep ripping the customers off and require us to top that up, they can get the fuck out of the system. If you can't make money off it, then we'll just stop using your service. How about that? No. I think it's really interesting right now because Kira's got to deal with a deputy leader next to him who's going to hate him for what he just did to her partner. I kind of want to see that meeting because I'd love to see a chav have a go at a guy who sounds like he's, like he's got a really nasally voice and can't argue back. Also, this is a man who during PMQs, because he has to let you know he treats women equally to men, he is surrounded by about 10 women. And I mean, to his side and behind him. Before you get any men, there are near a dozen women around him, like a harem. It's quite...
It almost kind of...
Go on.
Doesn't that kind of feel like they're there for like window dressing? You know what I mean?
They're tokens, yes.
I feel as if like so much of the wokest agenda like creates the very problem that they claim to fight for. I know this is tangential, but just that right there just made me think like, oh wow, you needed 12 women to prove that they're important?
To be fair, this is the same guy who took the knee with Angela Rayner a few years back, and I thought it was the cringiest crap ever. You did it for a photo op and looked at the camera. I'm sorry, but that is such virtue signaling. Just don't bother. Just don't bother. I think it's absolute cringe.
By the way, in terms of the solar panel thing, we have similar problems now. We have large enough empty swaths of land where solar panels actually can be useful for certain people who have like enough sun every day. They actually can make a full return instead of just like a reduction on their bill. Some actually can, in fact, sell energy back to the energy company.
Some here can as well, but it's a summer thing where during the summer our days are long and bright. Yeah, that's when you're making your money. But then that money you're getting back is going on the winter bill.
Oh yeah, totally. Especially with the cost of energy creation. Now, actually, on that topic, I have a question for you.
Ask away.
So, in terms of energy production, especially in Europe, I have heard inklings, and I have heard some people even on the radio saying that they are open to this option. I have heard the tales of nuclear energy. and how certain places are now having to re-examine their previous aversions to nuclear energy, i.e., I believe France and Germany.
Yeah.
Does the UK? Do you know if the UK has any plans to move into a nuclear direction?
So, the UK does already use nuclear power, and we are in the process of making new nuclear power plants. That is always something. But I have done some little looking quickly while you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
The of total electricity generation of any country worldwide in 2021, France had the greatest share. So France is already on this. We're on it as well, to be honest. Nuclear is, in the EU's electricity generation, it represents 25% of its power in the EU. And that's not bad. I do think we, the UK... oh, yeah, so I know that... Okay, based on this quick look here, Germany is trying to use renewable energies. So they want to get rid of a lot of things. Germany doesn't actually have much in the way of nuclear plants at all, actually.
No, they were the ones that, in particular, had a very, very strong aversion to.
I don't know why. They've got so much land. If they fuck up, they at least can put a ring around it and not be too put out by it.
Well, for some reason, I forget if it was Fukushima or 3 Mile Island that really made them upset.
I mean,
But
Hiroshima. Not Hiroshima. What's that place in Ukraine? Chernobyl?
Yeah.
I think that's nearer.
Right, but I mean, I remember, like there's a bunch of pictures of like German nuclear protests, right? And I remember a bunch of the signs were like talking about like 3 Mile Island and
we have people. It happens every time someone tries a new thing. You try something new to try and make things easier, and people are like, "Oh, but when someone this thick at the children." We had that here with nuclear as well when it first got introduced. And the risk, yes, the time to change, but we've gotten better now. I'm sorry, but nuclear is an obvious way forward for the time being. And then hopefully we'll find a suitable, harness Dragonlord. Fuck yeah, do that. Just harness his fat folds.
Here's one of the pictures.
Just think it would be a great... Oh, God, am I going to see a cursed image?
No.
That guy looks like he belongs in the KKK.
I think it's supposed to be a
survivor,
a nuclear worker wrapped up in the plastic.
I mean, someone dying, perhaps. Cancer, maybe.
I don't know what's up with the face paint, but all right.
I think, with the black rings around the eyes, which odd. I thought perhaps he looked like he might be dead.
Skin.
Might be just dead. Oh wow, it's white face. Okay. So I think we do. We don't have as much space for nuclear. That's the thing. But we do use it ourselves, and I think our government definitely want to push for that because that is something we can do. I know fracking was an option as well, but I don't think it's as beneficial. And France being France is 80% nuclear. That explains then why France has kept their energy bills fairly low, because they are generating. I'm looking at the numbers. The terawatts per hour is fucking bonkers.
What is it? I have the US. So what is there?
Sorry, scroll up. Where is it again? Oh no, I've lost it. Well,
I have the numbers here for the US in 2019. Our 92 commercial reactors, produced a total of 809.41 terawatt hours.
735. But still, that is a fucking lot in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, I mean, France has a much different output in terms of like their total energy. Like their energy consumption for their state, like that number that I just sent, the 809 number, accounted for 20% of our nation's electric production or energy production.
So in our country, 16% of the UK's electricity came from nuclear. That's not bad for a country, like this. Let's see. UK generates 15% of its electricity from about 6.5 GW of nuclear capacity. I don't know what GW stands for. Gigawatts? Gigawatts? Are we going back in time now?
I mean, we do have gigawatts here, too.
I mean, I just like the idea of 1.21 gigawatts. Get my DeLorean out.
Yeah, true. I don't know what was so great about the number 88 back then, but now it has a much different connotation.
It does. But yeah, we have been building new facilities. I think they should be publicly owned, just to make sure that, because in that context, I think they really should be. I think in that context, then the government could own the nuclear power plant for the number of years that can be used before it has to be then just removed from existence, basically. Because you can't stay in the same place afterwards; you have to go somewhere else. That's another issue, because then other communities like, oh, but the nuclear, how will we ever survive? I'm just like, shut the fuck up. It's a high-skilled job. It does benefit the community. Yes, there are issues with waste. Of course there is. But this is a better option right now than just pumping out loads of fucking coal. And also, privately owned companies are fleecing us anyway, so if we were able to offset the bills with nuclear, do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and especially with like the whole oil crisis that we're encountering.
Yeah. Although none in my county though. That's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, in terms of energy, I know that we've cut down some of our like our plans to make some nuclear power plants. I know that I got a tax rebate bill in one of my areas, and I don't know the reason why they stopped building it. I hope they restart it. Honestly, probably not, since they refunded everybody. But I think that if people really want to start talking about green energy, then nuclear is the way to go.
I know people are talking about hydrogen a lot still, but that's still experimental.
True. Though I do love the hydrogen engines that people have been making in their cars and showing off.
I remember, I think it was a gas station in America. I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger who used it. And it had a hydrogen pump.
Nice.
And this was years ago. I don't remember it as too clearly, but I remember thinking to myself, that is one of the biggest bombs that's legal I've ever seen in my life.
True.
And you're standing on it. You're standing on something that is arguably more dangerous. And I love it.
That's why I like the electrolysis engines. They make more sense. They create the hydrogen and pass it into the engine,
as opposed to having it in a tank underneath the concrete.
Correct.
That had me worried.
It's just a tank of water that's getting,
it's
electrified.
I don't remember if this was some kind of myth or something. I just remember seeing this video years ago. It was just such a long time ago, and it cracked me up because I was just like, someone's about to die. And when they do, you're going to lose, I don't know, half of Florida. It's going to be an absolute mess, and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because lessons have to be learned, everyone. It's why San Francisco didn't learn its lessons after an earthquake and just built the same way again.
Well, okay, look, I mean, there are plenty of countries and areas in the world that never learn their fucking lessons. I mean, as much as I would like to point to the people who live in South Florida, as you understand that hurricanes happen, right? I can blame them, but I can't blame the Puerto Ricans because that's their island and that's where they live.
They're about to have a fucked. They should run on hydrogen. See how well Puerto Rico survives.
Jesus Christ! Don't.
It'd be a detonation against G.I. Joe.
The people I can criticize are the people who create or enact the change in their local areas that cause issues like this. For example, when the Californians decided that they no longer wanted to do controlled burns over the last 50 years,
learn that lesson.
That's the thing. They haven't.
No, they're gonna have to learn it the hard way.
Bleeding heart, fucking, environmentalists, while at the same time causing environmental damage.
Yeah. No, they need to learn that.
It's not irreversible environmental damage,
yeah.
But the environmental reversal that it's going to do might destroy your entire house.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Just whatever, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hey man, their choice, right? You have the
Oh,
freedom to
yeah.
make your own mistakes.
You made your bed, now live in it. That's what it is.
Exactly. No, they'll just fucking run away to South Florida or fucking Texas and be like, let's vote for the same thing here.
Well, it's going to work wonders in Texas. They still won't win a vote in there.
Speaking of votes and people's feelings, hey Meg, is the UK in a recession?
Recession doesn't exist, mate.
So yes. I'm glad you jumped the gun on that one because yes, the U.S. apparently, at least our government, does not believe in the word recession. We apparently believe singly in semantics, and the media is very quick to jump all over it and agree with people who are actually fucking lying to your face. So the first one that I had sent to you was a CNN business article, and the title is, "Are we in a recession? Yes, no, maybe." Yes, that is the entire headline, and yes, that is 4 sentences. Yes, no, and maybe are all statements. And if you go down, the first thing says, "Here's the big thing to know today. The U.S. economy shrank in the second quarter of the year, and that does indeed meet the unofficial criteria for being in a recession. But as you probably noticed, we're not rolling out the R word in any definitive way yet."
Retard?
No, recession. That one too, though. I could use that to describe much of my government.
Retarded, yes.
Yes, correct. So you have the thing. It says, "So we're not in a recession?" And the person writes, "I hate to say it, but it depends on whom you ask. A lot of economists, plus President Joe Biden and Fed Chief Jerome Powell, say it's not likely. Take the GDP data with a grain of salt," as Powell put it yesterday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay. So, here are the facts of the situation. What was a recession prior to, I guess, this month? It was 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. So, negative values, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had that. I believe the revised number for the first quarter was negative 2.1, and the number that we're still sitting at for the second quarter is negative 0.9.
Okay.
So we are in a recession by all previous metrics, prior to this year, apparently.
The assessment of these metrics is akin to one rule for me but not for these. When the right government's in office, this doesn't exist, okay? We're only doing good things right now.
Well, yes. Now, of course, we must do our due diligence because the fact checkers are out and about. So let us ask Snopes: did the White House change the definition of recession? Rating: false.
Well, of
Fact
course.
check: is a recession defined as 2 consecutive fiscal quarters of falling gross domestic product? That's what the crux of what critics of U.S. President Joe Biden alleged in July 2022 social media posts and commentary, claiming the White House changed the definition.
It did.
Did the White House change the definition? Quoting Snopes, the short answer is no. But that doesn't mean we're not in a recession.
It's like they just covered their own arseholes by denying and then saying, but it might be true.
And then it says, so is the U.S. in a recession or not? The short answer, it's subjective until the NBER panel calls it so.
Oh, well, no, you'll defer to the experts when it suits you. All right.
Oh, yes. The National Bureau of Economic Research, an independent non-profit organization. Let's see just
research
how
and retards. It's the same thing, to be honest.
Let's see here. Donation history. Let's see how independent they are.
Oh, I bet they are. So independent.
Yep. Support and funding. Let's go. It's supported by grants from government agencies or private foundations.
Shocker. The backbone. That's interesting.
One. The NIH, the NSF, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. Corporate sponsors, ExxonMobil, Fidelity Investments, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. International supporters, Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Bank of France, Bank of Japan. Yes, very independent. I can't imagine that they are anything but government stooges.
They are not beholden to the government in the slightest. Totally independent, everyone.
Yes, just like the big banks. Yes. Okay. So, according to the NBER, because the job market is still hot, meaning that they are still creating jobs and people have those jobs, and that's one of the reasons why we're not in a recession. In fact, the press secretary even had the audacity to say that we are in a transition of growth.
What a crock of
me,
shite.
Oh my god. Yeah, just like inflation was transitory, we're in transitional recession.
What a load of bollocks. I do like that one. A transition of... what do you call it again? Transition of
growth.
Yeah. Your growth is transitioning from male to female.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, clearly, right? What is the gender pronoun of our growth, of our GDP growth?
The sound of diarrhea coming out of Biden's
Actually,
arsehole.
Alicia Shepard has a better one. Transitioning from growth to shrinkage.
So wait, someone's going out from being in the warm weather and they're going standing in ice now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a penis joke, everyone. Yay, we made one.
Oh, Jesus. But no, I mean, they have such balls, especially the press secretary has. She's either willfully ignorant, right? Intentionally deceptive, or fucking actually stupid.
I'm inclined to believe the latter because they don't. Based on like the previous one as well, they're just there to blindly believe what the shit they're shoveling.
Had money.
Yeah.
Because she made the comment that we, prior to this, recession announcement, we were in an economic boom, right?
Oh, really?
Biden had even had the balls, right? The shrinkaging balls, right? To say that we had reached stock market record after record after record on his watch, which is hilarious considering the records he was talking about was within the past 3 years. 2 of those being a fucking global pandemic that everyone stopped doing everything. Mostly because we were told to.
Yeah.
So, yes, the records are great if you look at just at the start of the pandemic to the end. Yeah, you look great because it went from shit to less shit. But,
yeah.
It still smells.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the economic boom that has people scrambling because the Fed keeps raising interest rates. Interest rates went up another 3/4 of
Federalist Reserve or what?
So the Fed is essentially our money lending existence. So they are the ones that basically handle credit in our country.
Gotcha.
I believe it would be more akin to the federal bank, but let me make sure.
Akin to our Bank of England.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that makes more sense.
Federal Reserve Board. Sorry,
Federal Reserve. I did figure Federal Reserve was somewhere, but I just didn't know what it was called exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay,
I just know that they handle credit rates.
Okay.
Which is basically how anybody exists. The embarrassing state of the states. Yeah.
Thank you, Mel Klump. That's incredibly generous of you.
I appreciate it. Fed is short for Federal Reserve. Thank you. Yeah, I could not remember if it was Federal Reserve or Federal Bank. That's why I looked it up. But good on you, Chaos. So yeah, all I know is that they're fucking up everybody. Now, of course, there is a way technically that the increase of interest rates is supposed to slow down the amount of purchasing that is happening in the country, which
Yeah.
allows things to settle, which is intended to actually more stabilize the economy so that people aren't trying to go out as much. However, there is a very, very delicate balance here, whereas if you slow it too much, then people start hoarding, not selling, do not engage in the economy at all, right? Making no like splurge purchases, thus reducing luxury markets, crashing the economy. Because if you raise, like, for example, credit card interest rates, you are going to have people not engaging with their credit card, trying to pay off that debt as quickly as possible, and then not using it, which is the important part.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then you no longer have like this system of credit that's supposed to be going back and forth. With our increase in inflation, people don't have faith in either cash nor credit right now. So what you're going to end up causing is nobody's going to engage in the economy at all. Either that, or people are going to use alternate forms of currency, which could be Bitcoin, which could be bonds, which was what happened in the 70s, at least the early 70s. And I mean, it didn't end well for those who went with the bond option by the late 70s, but because we had an even further tightening of credit. Yeah, I am concerned because we have a government that currently I don't believe is acting within the real fucking world anymore.
Well, that's not surprising. Their president is a bit. He does. You know what he needs? He just needs a nice joint, and a care home.
He needs a couple. I was gonna say he needs a couple of nice new joints. His knees, elbows,
hips,
definitely,
brain,
shoulder. Yeah,
brain's a joint, isn't it? It connects to the other thing, and yeah, that's totally what it is. Yeah.
I mean, if it's a joint, it's disconnected. So,
I mean, the one I was thinking of disconnects him from reality, so you perhaps feel more comfortable. I just thought he could do with a chill pill, you know.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Now, unfortunately, that is where we are headed in our country at the moment, which I think that they're gonna start seeing a whole lot of people not have confidence in the Democrats.
Yeah,
we already are seeing a lot of opinions heading towards the opposite party. CNN even did this thing this morning where they went through like the 3 indicators of like how House seats will flip. One of them was negative GDP, one of them was inflation, and the other one was confidence in the economy, like from people. So 2 of them are statistical metrics, and the other one is opinion.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them indicate that they're between, I think it was 23 and a 44 seat flip based on historical metrics to from the Democrats to the Republicans. Hold on one second. Cool. Sorry, I had to deal with that.
No worries.
Any hoozles? At least they upped our engagement, right?
Small win.
Chatbots.
Oh God, yeah. Thank you, Trups.
Yeah.
Engagement.
Report bot true. But anyway, like that's what we're dealing with. I don't know what you guys are dealing with over there. in terms of your recession or your purchasing power? I know that we had talked previously about the pound, and I believe you guys are almost equivalent to US dollars at this point.
I think the the euro and the dollar is. I think there's still a gap between us, but it's not as big.
Okay. So have you felt any differences, like when you go to the grocery store?
Yeah, everything's gone up.
Well, okay. More to the point is, so we've had a different kind of we've had a drop in our gas prices. Are you guys seeing those?
No, it's going up.
Okay. I don't know why that is. But we're kind of fucked over here. The globe is kind of fucked. Oh, by the way, we might engage with China soon.
Yeah.
That was the that's a you see when the U.S. gets into problems in their internal problems, right? We have a really good habit of going elsewhere to distract from the problems that we are facing inward. Unfortunately, that means that the USS, I think it was the Roosevelt, is currently heading towards the South China Sea, in preparation for Nancy Pelosi to potentially make a trip to Taiwan.
Oh, really? I had heard that there was
Yeah.
going to be some kind of military incursion taking place soon over there.
Yeah, you see, China warned the U.S. that if we sent any kind of delegation to Taiwan,
Yeah.
I believe their quoted comments were, "If you play with fire, expect to be burned,"
Mm-hmm.
which is a really ballsy statement considering almost all of the things that China has was stolen from us or Russia.
Yeah.
Because China is really good at stealing technology. Ironically, not so good at making it. Designing it, rather. Really good at making it. They have enough sweatshops to do that. Now, of course, we also have Ukraine to worry about. And oh my god, I just remembered. So remember how I mentioned like 2 weeks ago that I was concerned, I was concerned about like the 80 billion that we sent.
Yeah.
Okay, apparently that comment or that sentiment is being echoed in Congress because they want to send people to monitor our shit. Like they want like a department of like a defense like logistical coordinator to go and basically make sure that our shit is being used for what we sent it to be used for, and not just put it on the back of a truck, get driven into like I don't know, fucking Poland or like in a different place in Poland because we're landing it in Poland. Now, I don't know what the other countries are doing. Germany has almost fucking pulled out entirely of helping Ukraine. So the whole world is fucked up. I'm waiting to see what happens next. Because at this point, I'm waiting for, like, whatever the big explosion is that is going to, like, metaphorical explosion, that sends the entire world into a tizzy.
There are enough at the moment that I don't think they need to add any additional ones. I really don't want any more right now.
I'm just waiting for the inevitable assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Oh, well, we need another world war. Well, sadly, we don't have an Austrian-Hungarian Empire to overlook.
That's true. That's true. They always seem to have had an empire during these things.
We need some kind of we need Sabaton to write some banging music about it.
I was gonna say Sabaton's gonna be fucking busy.
They're gonna sit there and they're gonna be salivating and masturbating like mad, gluing more follicles to Joachim's head.
Poor guy. Well, Unfortunately, that's all I have.
I've got nothing. I'm done. I'm tired. Okay, it's been an hour and 10 minutes, everyone. Do forgive us. But it's time for us to depart. Is there anything Trups would like to promote before I end this?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah,
I actually have a fight with Linktree to to get into.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
you've moved
remember
on
how
from them.
Oh, I did, but then they made a fucking post that
Oh, did you get an
on my
email from them
Twitter.
as well?
No, I did a while ago, like when they banned me. But they posted on Twitter. They were like sharing everything in Linktree, getting all your friends onto Linktree, and I quote retweeted them and I said Linktree removed my page based on arbitrary opinions about the links contained within, and would not disclose information about what I had done wrong.
Oh, I actually managed to get mine back as well.
Mm.
I just
Well,
don't get it. I was like, no, you can get to fuck. I will quickly promote my reading channel, Moistski Reads, because I have a new short poem over there today called Day the World Stood Still, written by John Cooper Clarke. I'm going to disappear though because I want to rest for a very nice, relaxing weekend drinking tin cup American Colorado whiskey. And fuck all else, to be honest. You?
okay. I don't know.
Cool. Unless Trups isn't here next week, we'll be back next week.
Yes.
Fantastic. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.